Okay, again, my name is Sherry Swanson, and today we are going to talk about how your credits transfer to Grandview. I work with transfer students who are coming from any of the state of Iowa community colleges and anyone transferring from the University of Iowa. And joining me are my two coworkers who also work with transfer students. If you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves, that'd be great.
You bet. I'm Luann Knudsen, and I work also exclusively with transfer students. My territory would be most of the four-year colleges and universities in Iowa, except for the one Sherry covers. That would be Graceland, University of Iowa. And I also work with all out-of-state transfers. And we work with full-time day transfers only. Thank you.
Oh, sorry about that. I'm Autumn Luce, and I specifically work with transfer students from DMAC, and within the DMAC group, I work with students from just the urban and Ankeny campuses.
Good. So if you're a student and you're joining us, or even if you are an advisor, you now can put a face to a name as to who you can contact if you have any questions after today's series or in the future for any reason. But joining us today are experts on our degree audits and transferring in your credits, and also an advisor who would work with you when it comes time to register for classes. So ladies, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. My name's Rachel Barron, and I am the transcript analyst here. So I review all of the transfer credits as they come into Grandview, figure out their course equivalents, and help apply them to your program here.
Awesome.
Hi everyone, I'm Jackie Welty. I'm the Assistant Director for Graduate and Adult Students and Online Students, and I also work with all our incoming transfer students with the registration process. So I'm glad to be here and hopefully answer some of your questions.
Thanks for being here with us, ladies. Okay, so what we are going to get started with, we want to kind of go over how the process works and how do we determine how your credits will transfer into Grandview, and how can you get that information? Where does it all begin? So what we like to do is we'd like to have our students go ahead and apply for admission. Our application is free, so there's no charge to apply for admission here at Grandview. And then also submit your official transcripts from all of the colleges that you've earned college credit, including those college credits that you may have earned while you were a student in high school. So once you provide all of that information to us, as long as they're official documents, we'll go through the admissions process and we'll notify you of your admission status. And then automatically from there, it goes on to Rachel. And Rachel then will do her evaluation, and she's gonna describe a little bit about how she determines how those things transfer in. We're gonna pop up a degree audit so you can see what those look like and kind of walk through that with you. After she talks, Jackie's gonna talk about how that also works. In the event that you have other questions and you wanna know more specific things that apply to you as a student directly, if you want to put those questions in the chat, if we can't answer them today, your admissions counselor will reach out to you after our series today so we can get things started for you, or perhaps address that specific question. But first and foremost, in screen sharing, I'm going to put up here, we have articulation agreements with several of the community colleges in the state of Iowa, and they're all available on our website. So if you look up here in the address, it's under the transfer tab for admission for transfer students, and then you can go down and see transferring your credits. So it'll go through and cross enrollment questions that you may have, transferring from DMAC specifically, but here on the right side are all the schools that we have posted on our website, actual articulation agreements. So you can look up the course that you want to take, or questions that you have at DMAC or at Iowa Central or Indian Hills, and see its equivalency here at Grandview. So Rachel, do you want to kind of piggyback up on that, on how we determine what comes in, how many credit hours we
Yes, you bet. You bet. And I just also want to add too, if your school is not on here, there's a link to all the common community college course numbers that you should be able to find the Iowa courses on. And with any of the four-year schools or any other class that you just aren't seeing, please feel free to email your admissions counselor or myself, and we will be more than happy to look things up for you. So yeah, as Sherry said, once you're admitted, the file comes up to me and I look through all of your transcripts. I will look for any repeat courses and figure out just what courses to add then to your Grandview record. Overall, we take 75 credits maximum from a 2-year school. If you have way more than that, we can pick and choose as far as which ones will apply the best to your program here. From 4-year schools, we take an unlimited number. If you happen to have military credits, we will take those also. And military credits usually come in as elective credits, but there are situations that they might apply to a certain major here. We will take CLEP and AP. With that, you just want to make sure we get the official test results for CLEP and AP, and you can order those off of the College Board website. I do the evaluation. I get everything added to your record here, and we try and get you a copy of your evaluation or degree audit. You might hear us refer it as. We get you a copy within 2 to 3 days after you've been admitted, so that you are aware exactly of how things transfer in, if you have any questions, if you feel something's been overlooked. There are some occasions that I might need more information from you on a particular course and might ask you to provide a course syllabus that I would then have a department review. So we get the degree audit back to you just as quickly as possible. One thing we encourage too is just to go ahead and apply early on, a semester or 2 semesters early, because that way we can get you a degree audit. We can help you look at what courses you have in progress or courses you have planned to make sure that you are using your time well and that things do transfer just as well as possible here to Grandview. As far as degrees go, if you have an AA degree, that will transfer in and automatically meet your core requirements here, with the exception of needing a core seminar 2, and you do also have to have appropriate, at least to see or better in your math and English courses. If you have a BA degree, that comes in and just automatically meets your core requirements, with the exception, again, of that core seminar 2. What else? We take 30 Voc Tech credits. That's our maximum on that.
Rachel, can you touch a little bit on minimum grades that are required in order for us to accept, both in the core and how it's different for whatever major you're in?
Sure. We will take D grades for core and pass grades for core, but there are certain majors that, except for math and except for English, excuse me, you have to have at least a C for those two. But however, there are certain majors that will require specific grades. Education is one of them. I'm sorry, I don't know them all by heart, but you need at least a B in a certain courses. And then nursing, I believe, has a few grade requirements for specific courses to be applied to their major. Am I missing any?
Nope. I was just wanting you to touch on the D or better if it's not required within your major, or comp or English.
Right, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
One of the good things about this process is we give the students everything in writing. So there's no question about it. So when they get back with us with a question, we can go and look it up and follow through with them.
Exactly, yes. Does anyone, have I missed anything? Anything else I can add to this?
Can you talk about the core seminar class? Can you talk a little bit about what that is? If a student's wondering, okay, I have all of these credits, but I'm still required to take a core seminar. What is core seminar? Either Rachel or Jackie, whoever would like to answer that.
If you're transfer, I'll let Jackie jump in because she knows more about them. But if you're a transfer student with at least 20 credits, I believe you do get credit for core seminar 1. But all students do need to take core seminar 2 here. And then Jackie, maybe you can tell them a little bit more about that.
Yeah, our core seminar 2, I like to describe it as a social justice global awareness type course. And every instructor gets to choose their own topic. I know some instructors have chosen Africa, others have chosen the homeless population here in Des Moines. There's been one who actually had them read the book The Hate You Give, and so every instructor gets to kind of choose their own topic on for that core seminar 2 course, and then students can see what that topic is before they choose it.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so I want to also screen share with you so when we talk about your course evaluation or a degree audit, when we send that off to you, some of you might get it and look at it and like, I don't understand what this is saying. So we have an example, and Jackie's gonna actually walk through that audit with you so you can understand what we've come up with for you. Maybe give me a second. There it is. Okay. So Jackie, if you'd like to go ahead and get started on this and let me know when you want me to page up or page down.
Okay, so when you're looking at this, it'll tell you like what your program you are, what catalog you're on. One thing to keep in mind, please ignore that anticipated completion date. It is not accurate. I think they pretty much just take 4 years from the time you were admitted.
That's correct.
So do not pay attention to that. If you started in fall 2020 and you only have 60 credits, you're going to be done before 2024, I promise. Here it talks about the institutional credits. You are required to take at least 30 credits from Grandview. You have to have an institutional GPA of 2.0, but your major might require higher. Like for business, it does require a 2.2 in the major. Overall credits, you do need 124. And then overall GPA, again, there's that 2.0 you need. This student.
The only exception for the required credits would be education, correct? They require 130?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
So if we're scrolling on down, where you can see this student does not need to take this first year seminar. It's transferred in because they have over 20 credits. They will need to take our core seminar 2 class. So that's the LIBA 350. This student did transfer in a first year composition. If you are from DMAC or most community colleges, that would be English 106. Comp 2 will equal our Comp 1. This student also took college algebra, so their math would be completed. So they don't need to worry about that. Scrolling on down, next we get to our domains. Grandview will need 4 domains. We have appreciation of fine arts, natural world, society and human behavior, and faith and meaning. You can see in here that there are some courses that are direct equivalents, like English 111, interpretation of literature. There's another one that just says arts, this one, number 2 on the natural world. Sorry, we're going to drop down. It says domain core AA or baccalaureate degree. Basically, this student did not have another science course, but because they have an Associate of Arts degree, we're saying that that domain is done. So again, if you have an AA degree, you do not need any of our domain courses. So that's again the fine arts, natural world, faith and meaning, and society and human behavior. Does that kind of make sense? If you don't have an AA degree, we'll just look for specific courses like that English 111 or Psych 101 or Social 101 meet those requirements as well.
So, and then if I can jump in real quick, back up there under appreciation of fine arts, there was one course, Arts AFA. If we ever don't have a direct equivalent for a course, but it will come in and we'll use it towards core, that's kind of the core, the code that we use. So you might see Arts AFA or Natural World, NWN, just meaning that you had a science course that we don't directly match up to one of ours, but it still works for core.
I'm learning new stuff over here. I'm kind of liking this series here. All right, awesome.
So if we could get out of the domains, the person I picked was just a business major. Oh, no, we're going to go to the outcomes. Let's not forget about these. I like to jump over them though. Basically the outcome iterations, these are things embedded in our coursework that faculty found important when we redid our general education requirements. They are information literacy, written communication, oral communication, global awareness, quantitative communication, and I want to say vocation, there it is, are the outcomes. Grandview is automatically going to give you some of these based on how many credits you transferred in. So if you are transferring in 30 credits, you will get one set because you're going to be a sophomore. If you transfer in 60 credits, you're going to get 2 sets because you're going to be a junior. And so you can see this student gets 2 sets of iterations, so they only need 2 more in each of those categories. And so you would need 2 sets, and they should be embedded in most of the courses you already need to be taking. I'll show you a different way to view this, I think, in a little bit, but basically you'll see in that Core Seminar 2 course that's required for all students, there's quite a bit of these iterations embedded in that course. And so again, as a junior, you shouldn't really need to worry about getting these in. Rarely do I have students who have to go out and find a specific course to meet these iterations. They're usually embedded in like your core seminar and your capstone courses for your major. Next, it's going to go into the major requirements, and basically those are just going to, Rachel's going to determine how those transferred in on your evaluation, and then they're just going to be listed in here to show you what you still need to take.
Hey, can I jump in real quick on the 30 upper division requirement there?
Yes.
Scroll back up just a little bit. So as part of your graduation requirements here, every student has to have at least 30 upper division courses. So that's 300 and 400 level courses. So just one thing to be aware of is that any class from a 2-year school can transfer in and be considered equivalent to a 300, 400 level course, but they will not apply here to the upper division requirement. They're not considered upper division. This really shouldn't hold anybody up. You'll get plenty of upper division credits in your major here, but it's just something to be aware of.
So that is about all I have about how to read this evaluation.
I'm just going to go through. I'll scroll down so they can see what the rest of this. This is usually where students get panicky. How am I going to get this all done? Do they have to figure all this stuff out on their own, Jackie? Do they have to figure out, like, okay, if I'm looking at this, can I figure out how many semesters I'm looking at in order to complete my degree?
They can figure that out on their own, or they can meet with me when we do the registration, and I'll count up how many credits they need. And with most majors, I'm not going to say all, but with most majors, it's pretty easy to get done in 2 years if you transferred in that Associate of Arts degree. There are, the little bit more complicated majors, and I'm sure you know which ones those are.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing this. So awesome. Okay. Perfect. Does anybody have any specific questions that they'd like to add in the chat, or even just go ahead and ask? This is a great opportunity to ask any questions that you have. We have our experts here with us. So. Okay. Did everybody see the question about the seminar class? If we have taken a course seminar from another college, do we have to take one at Grandview too? And the answer is yes. Yep. Our seminars are designed especially for our students here at Grandview. Awesome. Okay, Carly, yes. So are these evaluations taken from our transcripts? Yes.
They get your transcripts, and then if you get accepted and you're currently in progress on a courses at your current school, then once you are completely done, you need to have another transcript sent so that we can update the audit and include the classes that you are in progress on at the time of admission.
Right. And when I do the transcript evaluation, I will look at courses in progress and make notes on your degree audit as to what's in progress and how those will transfer in.
And then when we meet, if they're still in progress, we'll just make sure not to register you for those courses and talk about how we're doing in those courses to make sure they'll transfer.
Great questions. Awesome. So if a student, just let's play a little scenario here. If a student is thinking about doing nursing, let's just pick on nursing. How do you determine, like, for example, if a student has taken anatomy and physiology, perhaps at DMAC, but maybe it doesn't transfer into Grandview. Can you kind of go through some scenarios as to why and how we determine, or how that's all handled, even though the courses might have the same titles, but perhaps not the same content? Can you help us maybe explain how that works?
Sure. Any course that doesn't have an equivalent or that we don't accept, they go through the department. So if there's anything I am not familiar with or haven't been reviewed before, we send course descriptions, we send course syllabi over to the department. So it's actual faculty that are reviewing to make sure there's the appropriate full content needed in your transfer course to just make you as successful as possible here in your progression of courses here at Grandview. So that's what they will look at. They'll look at the number of credits, they'll look at course content, they'll look at the syllabus, the books that are used, pretty much anything along those lines to determine equivalencies. Yeah, if there is ever any question about, oh, should I take this course or shouldn't I, and you're not seeing the answer on the website, please check it out with us beforehand so that you know for sure whether it will work for your degree program or not.
Awesome, thank you.
And I just want to clear up, the anatomy and physiology, as long as you take both at DMAC, will transfer.
Yes, it's the bio courses. I don't even know if does DMAC have the health science ones anymore?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but there were some older A&P that did not transfer. They were in the health science category. But the biology 168, 173, A&P, as long as you have both, they transfer in for ours.
And it does look like DMAC has the health science ones still. So we'll just
Okay.
want to make sure that, I guess that would be me, you want to make sure that I'm advising students not to take those. So
Correct.
with DMAC advisors, do either one of you, or even DMAC students, since you're in here as well, do any of you have questions about any specific course that you're curious about? Because we can answer that here as well. Haven't got any questions yet about that.
I try to update the DMAC articulation about once a year. I go through their catalog and our catalog and make additions. There are some blanks on the articulation right now. Just with the whole crazy year we've had a little harder time keeping up with some of the program course evaluation. So if there's a course on that articulation that's online that is blank and you want to know for sure, text me and let me know, and I'll make sure and get hold of the faculty member on that. But otherwise we do try to keep it updated every year.
In light of COVID, making everybody kind of adjust how we're doing things, obviously we have a policy regarding pass-fail, and it's my understanding that there might be certain courses or students that are going to go in certain majors that maybe pass-fail is not the best option because I believe, and either one of you can correct me, pass-fail courses don't apply toward their overall GPA, which they need for admission into a program. Jackie,
I think that would fall with education and nursing. So I think if you're an education and nursing student, you should probably be reaching out if you thinking about switching a class to a pass-fail.
Okay.
That's good to know. I didn't even think about that. There's so many factors that are happening with COVID, and even just even us doing this now. So that was a very good question. Perfect.
I would also like to bring
nursing for sure requires a grade for their courses in the major.
I would like to bring up, because I think it was just quickly brought up, but I think it's unique to Grandview, is that we do offer, we take 75 credits from the community college, which is a little bit more than most community colleges around, I can't talk today, most other four-year schools around here. So when students, if they really want to plan correctly and really utilize those community college credits, they can take maybe another semester at the community college to get any necessary prereqs or get math out of the way if they want to, and maybe just transfer 70 credits instead of 64. I mean, those are all options. And if anybody wants to talk to me directly about how they can maximize that, I'm always happy to help students do that.
Mm-hmm. And Jackie, you brought up math, and maybe somebody else can help me out with that. There are some majors that will specifically require algebra. There are majority of majors that do not. If you do not have algebra say for business, we would ask that you take a math placement exam just before registration. And that's just to help get you in the right course. It's nothing to get too stressed over or to worry about. It's just making sure that, like I said, you're in the right course and so you can progress here. Jackie, can you have anything to add about the math placement or?
Yeah, usually what I tell students about the math placement, if you're going to be required to take it, is brush up on your high school algebra. It's a 50 question test, and you don't have to get through all 50 and place into calculus. We just need, probably place into algebra or college algebra here at Grandview. You don't have to take college algebra, just need that placement score. So we can get you into like finite if you're a business major, or intermediate algebra if you're a nursing major. But just brush up on that high school algebra and try and get go slow and get as much done as you can correctly versus trying to rush through and get through all 50 is what I tell students.
I also mentioned to my students, when we say math placement test, those 3 words together make everybody panic for some reason. And I think they have this idea like, oh my gosh, am I going to fail this? Well, it's not about failing. It's about getting a score to tell us where you're at with math. We know what you need, but if your knowledge level is not up to what you need, we don't want to put you in a course and set you up to fail from the start. So really, that math placement is more a safety net for students more than anything, to make sure you're in the right course that you need to be in.
Awesome.
To let you know, changed. Thank you, Amy. I will make a note of that and make sure and check it. Thank you.
Okay, it looks like we do have one question from a student. She says, well, I need more math if I will have an AA degree and when I start at Grandview for the psychology major.
The answer depends on what math you took in your AA degree.
And the grade.
And the grade.
Well, and so for psychology, you need statistics.
Yep.
And at Grandview, in order to get into statistics, you need algebra as a prereq. So tell me if I'm not correct, Jackie or Rachel, but if you've taken something that's algebra specific and you've passed it, and that's what you used for your AA, then that is the prereq for statistics.
That sounds about right. There's some individual things that we could maybe work through. But yeah, math placement, if you have an algebra-based course or even Math 105, it's on occasion we can get you permission into taking the statistics for social sciences.
Yeah.
If you need to take, for some reason, statistics 241, you would then need that algebra-based course.
So she took Math 110, Math for Liberal Arts. So because that's not algebra specific, then she would need to do placement, correct?
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Yeah, I know it's confusing at times and it's changed. With a C or better, that will meet core, and I believe we can use that for her prereq for her psych stats.
Psych stats, not
Right.
stats 241, but the psych stats we can just.
Which is what she'll want to take. Yeah.
Some good stuff on here, you guys.
Yeah, good
I've learned a
scoop.
lot.
Rachel
Awesome.
and Jackie, I'm glad that we have you because as admission counselors, we're unique in that we're not academic advisors as well. So sometimes I know just enough to get myself in trouble. So I'm glad you're here to bail me out.
My specialty is finding loopholes for students. So.
Yeah. And we do. We want to use your transfer credits just as effectively as possible here. So.
Absolutely. Okay, if you have any questions, again, please do not hesitate to reach out to Autumn, Luann, or myself, or even Jackie and Rachel. We'd like to kind of take those questions, and if we can't answer them, then we do reach out to Rachel and Jackie because they have full plates as well. So, and it helps us help you get through the process. So if you have not applied for admission or for the advisors, if you're working for students, please encourage them to go out to our website and just fill out the application. It's pretty simple and there's no application fee. And then students need to request those official transcripts to come to our office. A lot of schools are using Parchment and National Clearinghouse to have them sent electronically, which is pretty slick and quick.
Yep.
And as soon as we get that information in, we as admissions counselors contact you right away just to kind of let you know what the status is and where things are moving. And as soon as we get that audit back from Rachel, we do send that on to you. So thank you very much for joining us today. And again, like I said, if you have any questions, reach out to us and we'll be happy to help you. And be sure to look at the rest of our series that we have coming up. We're going to be meeting specifically with nursing, education, and social work, in addition to meeting with some representatives to help our students be successful while they're here at Grandview. So those are all listed on our website, and most likely you will be getting another invite to each of those sessions. So we hope that you'll come back and join us again. And again, if you have any questions, just let us know.